Hello tankers and welcome back to the club. In this video I will be talking about all the changes coming to the update 11.0 in World of Tanks Blitz. So all the upcoming changes, we're going to have really significant changes, especially in point of equipment, consumables. Some tanks will be nerfed and buffed, and we're going to have 4 new PBR tanks, new graphics, HD graphics for 4 tanks. We're going to see here the new Italian tanks, the new heavy tanks, tech tree tanks, and also I'm gonna show you how the armor gonna look like for those tanks. Okay, and first of all, make sure to subscribe to the channel and never miss informations about update like this, or reviews, giveaways, all about gaming and World of Tanks Blitz. Also a big shout and a big applause to Guides Blitz, who made this huge work to show us the changes. I'm just resuming all of this in this video. So the update 11.0 most likely to come on the 19th or the 26th of May, just before the start of the season 4 on June 1, with of course new tanks to grind, with snippets maybe again, or with other currency. Let's start first with the changes in point of equipment, consumable changes, and tanks, nerfs, and buffs. This is the huge part of the next update. So let's see here what we're going to have. So the equipment and balance changes in upload 11.0, we're going to have equipment changes, consumables changes, and tank balance changes. Let's start with the equipment changes. So the equipment changes, we're going to have the improved ventilation will be buffed. That means 5% crew skill to 8% crew skill increase. The calibrated shells will change 5% to 8% improved AP penetration, 5 will stay to 5% improved APCR penetrations, no changes, 10% to 13% improved heat penetrations, and 10 down to 8% improved to HE hash penetration. So actually it's a big buff, an exception of the hash. So I think now it's really make more sense to use calibrated shells, especially for tanks who has bad penetration. This is really very helpful. The gun rammer will get nerfed, so 7% down to 5% improved reload time. The improved modules change, so also there is actually, so buffs and nerfs, okay, 10 to 20% extra track module HP, 20 to 40% reduced damage from ramming enemies, not bad, 10 to 0% extra fuel tank module HP, and 10 to 0% extra ammo rack module HP. The defense system changes as well. So here, to engine damage, nothing gonna change. The chance of crew injury will be buffed, so okay, from -8% to -15%, and the chance of ammo rack explosion from -7% to -25%. So we're going to see in the future in the game less ammo racks. The improved optics changes. 10 to 11% improved view range on light tank, 10 to 8% a nerf for the view range for medium tanks, 7 to 6% for heavy tanks, and 5 to 4% on TDs. So the lights are the winners in point of improved optics changes. The camouflage net will get a buff for lights, 5 to 7%, 5 to 4% on mediums, 3 to 2% on heavy tanks. So that means, I think this is good, because the mediums and heavies there is some teams where the mediums and heavies are camping, and that will not help them to do that, okay? And it's only for lights and TDs. I find this fair. So for TDs, we're going to have even more camouflage net concealment thanks to this buff from 7% to 10%. The improved vertical stabilizer buff, 3 to 4 degrees, extra gun elevation, 3 to 3 degrees, gun depression, no changes in point of gun depression, but in gun elevation we have a small buff. This equipment is only for some tanks. Okay, the Type 71. Oh, the last one. Okay, of course. The improved suspension nerf, okay, is for the Type 71. Is going to be buffed for the hard tear resistance, for a medium tear resistance from 25 to 20 and from 25 to 15%. And for the soft tear resistance, we're going to have a small buff from 25% to 30%. So the traverse speed on these tear types is also nerfed. This equipment is also, again, only for the Type 71. The enhanced gun laying drive now for all the tanks is going to be improved, so buffed for most of the tanks for 10% to 15%. The supercharger buff, okay, so we're going to have a better shell velocity, from 30 to 35 improved shell velocity, and from 50 to 60% improved on shell penetration drop-off. The enhanced armor nerf, okay, you're going to use enhanced armor, so it's going to be nerfed, okay. Maybe it's going to be now in the future better just to go for a more hit point than enhanced armor, because only 3% from 4%. The improved assembly nerf from 6% to 4% increase in tank HP. This is also nerfed, okay, we're going to have less hit points, plus if you use the improved assembly, the improved control buff is going to be increased from 10% to 11%, so those are really small changes. The engine accelerator nerf, oh shit, from 7 to 5% for the heavy tanks and TDs, from 5 to 4% for medium tanks and light tanks, okay. The vertical stabilizer nerf from 15 to 12%. And the refined gun buff, that's insane. So we're going to have a huge buff for the gun dispersion. I like this for better accuracy. I think it's more important than, I don't know, speed or whatever. This is cool. The enhanced tracks, no changes. Wargaming will just make its description clearer, okay. The toolbox gonna be nerfed from 30% to 20% faster module repair speed. Consumable delivery system nerf from 15% to 12% faster consumable cooldown speed. The high-end consumables buff from 30% to 33% longer consumable durations, okay. And now to the consumable changes. The new consumable reduced engine power boost, okay. This is the effect 10% to plus 10% to engine power, duration 10 seconds, and cooldown 70 seconds. Costs for free. Oh, this is a new consumable, alright, and it gives us 10% more engine power. The engine power boost change. So that was the reduced engine power boost, and now the engine power boost, okay, 20 to 20% still the same. Extra engine power. The duration will be nerfed from 15 seconds to 12 seconds, but we can use it more often from 75 seconds to 65 seconds cooldown time. The improved engine power boost, this would give us much more power, will be also buffed from 30 to 35% extra engine power boost, 5 km per hour down to 4 km per hour off top speed, and 10 km to 8 km extra reverse speed, 15 seconds, that will stay the same, the duration, and here we can use it also more often, which is also pretty cool. All in all, from 90 seconds to 65 seconds cooldown time. The multi-purpose restoration pack, the cooldown time will also be worse, from 90 seconds to 100 seconds. So far so good. The repair kit buff from 90 seconds to 75 seconds cooldown time, and it's now for free. The medikit buff is also for free from 90 seconds to 75 seconds cooldown time. The auto fire extinguisher buff from 90 seconds to 70 seconds, and also for free. I really so rare use this, so yeah, whatever, I don't care actually about this change. And the adrenaline now, so faster gun reload time will be nerfed from 20% to 17%. Extra chance of damaging modules will stay the same, 10%. The duration length will be Okay, more 20 seconds, that's cool. And the cooldown time from 75 to 80 seconds. So really no big changes here, because I mean they do the faster gun reload time is nerfed, but for that the duration is more, and they given the cooldown time 5 seconds extra. So it's really not a big change here for Adrenaline, in my opinion. Tungsten shells change. Damage range increase remains same. 20 seconds to 15 seconds duration length and 90 seconds to 70 seconds cooldown time. The reactive armor, this is insane. So on Black Prince and other tanks, we can use this reactive armor, and we have a change there. It's getting buffed from 20% to 27% damage reduction. That's really cool. The duration length will go down from 15 seconds to 10 seconds, and the cooldown time will stay the same, 65 seconds. The reticle calibration change from 40% to 30%. Improved base aim time, 40% to 30% improved dispersion, 20 seconds to 20 seconds, it's the same for the duration length, and the cooldown time will go down to 10 seconds from 65 to 55 seconds. And now the changes for the tanks. Let's see what's gonna happen here. The AMX 50 Foch 155, the AMX 50 Foch, the AMX AC45, and the AMX AC46, so the French TDs. They're going to have the tungsten shell, that's pretty nice. The improved engine power boost will be added, and the gear oil provisions will be added as well. That's really pretty cool. Also for the AMX 50D, for the French heavies, the reactive armor consumables will be added. For the Vickers Light 105, Vickers Cruiser, and the FV301, the reticle calibration consumables will be added. The Hori, so the Japanese CDs, the reactive armor will be added, and the sandbag armor provision will be added. Okay, interesting changes here. The FV, so this is our FV215B, FV214 Conqueror, FV221 Canavan, Black Prince, Chimera, Chieftain, MK6 British heavies, and also mediums. They are going to receive... Oh no, the consumables will be removed. The reactive armor will be removed for those tanks. The Annihilator, oh no, he is gonna lose his improved engine power, so no more rushing on enemies. On the Annihilator, it's less OP, but still will be anyway stay OP. The T-44-100, the T-25 Pilot 1, the Panther M10. They're going to receive improved engine power, tungsten shell, reactive armor, and reticle calibration. All those consumables will be added for those tanks. The ISU-130, the E-25, German TD, Soviet TD will receive improved engine power, tungsten shell, and reticle calibration. The WZ-110, IS-2SH, FV-201 A45 will receive improved engine power, tungsten shells, reactive armor. The Panther with 8.8 gun will receive improved engine power, tungsten shell, and reactive armor. The T-32 from 9.8 seconds to 9.3 reload time. No ad. Alright, the T-44 will get an armor buff from 120 to 150mm on turret front armor, 90mm to 95 on upper plate armor, and 680 to 696 base horsepower on top engine. So it's a buff for the T-44. And yeah, other extremely insignificant changes include 0.1 to 0.2 reload buff to most guns, 0.1 second faster aim time, and 1 degree faster traverse speed. These changes are quite irrelevant and seems to just be to balance out the equipment nerfs. Gun mantlet was not changed. Alright. So, what else now? What are we going to see here? This is, I think, for the T-44, it's showing us the buff, okay, how it's gonna look like. You can see it here. 190mm and VS 255mm. of penetration, so it's really very, very small. We barely can see a difference here, okay? But on the left side, you can see that quite small buff on the turret. Alright, so the IS-3 will get a buff for the armor, upper plate armor. We can see it here, okay? So this is, I guess, without this buff, and this is with this buff. So we can see, yeah, quite a difference, okay? So the upper plate is really much more stronger. We can see it there. And yeah, and this is here, okay. So this is how it's gonna look like if you are aiming on it with a 265mm penetration. With APC air, gonna look like this, and with standard shells 225mm gonna look like this. Okay, we got it now. So the STA1, what we're going to have here, 6.5 to 6.4 seconds of reload time, so a DPM buff, and armor buff 70mm to 90mm on turret front. Alright, and here we can see it as well. Yeah, also, yeah, a difference. We can see a difference on the gun right there on the left side. It's a bit better. And yeah, that was now, those are the biggest changes, okay? Yeah, so consumables, equipment, and tanks changes, and now let's check out the rest. So we're going to have 4 new PB air tanks. Yeah, new graphics for those tanks, and will look like this. So let's see, this is the first one is, oh bro, come on. So we got the Type 59 and the VK3601H. This is the VK3601H with new graphics. And this is the Type 59, the second one. Gonna look like this with the new graphics. The next one is the E50. Also gonna receive new PBR graphics. And the last one is, if I'm not mistaken, the FV4202. And those are the changes on the tank, on the legendary camouflage. Okay, and this is how those tanks gonna look like. Yeah. This is with normal shells. This is, no, those with premium shells if this tank gonna be aimed on, but those are not the buffs or something like that, only how this PBR gonna look like if we are aiming on this tank with 156mm and with 212. For the Type 59, gonna look like this against 190mm shell, and gonna look like this against a 255mm shell, 190mm shell. The E50 using improved assembly gonna look like this against 245mm, no big changes, and against 300mm shell. And the FV4202 gonna look like this against 245mm nope, 300mm shell gonna look like this, and against a 245mm shell gonna look like this. So using -10 gun depression in this position, top image vs 245mm, and bottom image vs 300mm. So yeah, we can see here the weak spots if you are using the -10%, 10 degrees of gun depression, how it's gonna look like with different shells. And now the new Italian heavy tanks, the Tech 3 one. This is, I think, the tier 7 one, the tier 8 one, tier 9 one, and the tier 10 one, Rinoceronte. Alright, yeah, so we're going to have how much in total? Yeah, this is the Carro P88, how this tank gonna look like, okay, the armor of this tank, now against 175mm, and against 212mm, so yeah, actually the armor is really pretty weak against premium shells. And now here the Progetto 54, yeah, not using enhanced armor, So gonna look like this against 265mm of shells and against 225. So even if you are angling and on flat ground, we cannot rely a lot on the armor of this tank if we are going to be if you are facing tanks using premium shells or guns using premium shells. The projectile 66 also the same. So the lower plate is easy to pen, and the upper plate also against premium shells also very easy to pen. So I think the strength of these vehicles is not the armor, but maybe the mobility, and the auto reloader and the gun maybe will make those heavy special, but definitely not the armor, because as we can see here, let's go back. Oh bro, here we go. So if you can see here for the rear Siranti, it's also the same. If you are facing a tank using 328mm of penetration, which actually mediums got this penetration, yeah, they will be able to pen us. So even mediums will have no problems to penetrate our armor if they just use premium shells. So we don't need to talk about heavies and TDs. So I think those new heavies, Italian heavies, they have other strengths. And the weakness of these tanks are absolutely the armor, but I'm still excited to try out this vehicle. And with that, yeah, we arrived to the end of this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Those were or was all the changes what we're going to have in the next update 11.0. So we're going to have consumable changes, equipment changes. Some tanks will be nerfed, some tanks will be buffed. We're going to have new PBR graphics and those new Italian heavy tanks. With that, we arrived to the end of this video. I'm out. Thanks for watching. You know what to do now. Subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you liked this video, enjoyed watching it, and see you soon for sure in the next one, guys. Bye bye.